Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing a video demonstration of the ACID Mini V2, the Anywhere Computer for Information Deserts. So basically this is an offline content server. So you can upload your own files to it, but what it comes with is preloaded with a ton of very useful information to have in the case that the information from the internet isn't accessible. So the way it does it is it actually takes carbon copies of websites that then get stored as zim files, and those zim files are then uploaded to this device. So basically what you're able to do is connect devices to this over the Wi-Fi hotspot that this device creates, and then access websites as you would as if you were connected to the internet. But instead of it coming from the internet, it's actually coming from this device. So I'll demonstrate how that works in a moment, but first let's flip this on. As you can see, we have a breathing light, meaning that the device is booting up. Once we have a solid color, in this case green, that will indicate to us that the battery is at a full state of charge. And of course it goes through the spectrum of colors until the battery has been depleted. So over here on the bottom, we have it noted here, it's a 52 watt hour lithium ion battery. More specifically, it's actually 18650 cells. So there's 4 of them at the bottom of this device. And the idea is you should be able to remove the screws on top, and you'll be able to slide the board out and actually swap out the cells in case they were to go bad. This device is actually made for repairability, so it's extremely easy to repair and disassemble. Over here, we have our USB-C port for our PD fast charging. So this does 24 watt fast charging. So that equates to roughly about 2 hours to fully charge the battery. Over here, we have our status light. So this is a NVMe SSD that's in here, 1 terabyte specifically for this model. And this, of course, tells us how busy that drive is. Then over here, we have our charge status LED. So this will let us know if we're having a fast charging connection to whatever power brick or solar panel or whatever else may be plugged into it. And of course, it'll let us know when the device has finished charging. So let's go ahead and connect this computer up to this device over its hotspot. So we'll click here, we'll click on ACID hotspot. And once it connects, we have this portal. We'll click continue. We'll click go to ACID hotspot, click allow. And there we go. Automatically have the page with all of the content. So I'll quickly scroll through here so you can kind of have an idea of what's included. Now there's lots of tools that we built in-house and some stuff that we were able to utilize that was already made by others within the community. But let's first cover something basic and pretty essential, and that would be maps. So I'm going to scroll to United States. And as you can see, we have an offline map of the entire United States. And what's great is we could go ahead and zoom in into any region. In this case, I'll zoom in to roughly where I'm located right now. And as you can see, just like on Google Maps, as if you're connected to the internet, we can see all the different street names. We could see different names of places, names of businesses, just by zooming in. So we can, let's say, even find different parks, so on and so forth, just as if you were connected to the internet, but this is working completely offline and right off of this device sitting here. So let me go back to our homepage here. And let's take a look at our next resource. So this is something that we've developed. It's called the Survival Knowledge Hub. And in here we have 96 different articles on all sorts of different topics. So it's across all of these categories. And I'll just go ahead and click on a few and you can kind of have an idea of what's included, like treating hypothermia, snake bite, poison ivy, information about communication, cooking, crafts, handiness, gardening, livestock, and survival skills. So I'll go ahead and click on one of them here. Let's start with, let's say crafts, and we'll go to soap making. So here it shows you the steps to making soap, and there's even actually a built-in calculator. So you can calculate what your ratios are for adding lye to actually create it. And you actually can put in what type of oils you're using. So all that is built into this device. There's actually a bunch of different calculators for all sorts of different things. So wherever necessary, you could go ahead and you know, be able to do some calculations, and it will of course guide you as to what type of information needs to be inputted. So there's roughly about 6 calculators built in. So let's go ahead and hop into our next resource. We could take a look at our video content, all TED Talks. So this takes a moment, and there we go. We have all of our videos. Now this is just one page here of videos, and this is page 1 of 177. So tons of great videos on here about everything in regards to, you know, research and human intelligence. So great information to have. The next thing we'll hop into is our built-in AI. So this only works on desktop and laptops at the moment. So we'll go ahead and click Setup Models. This actually will load in the AI from this device into your computer, and it will run within your browser. So whatever you do remains completely offline and disconnected from the internet. And then once this, also you could actually upload photos to this, and it will help you identify certain objects in that photo. And once this completes, I'll go ahead and type in a basic prompt like how to start a fire. Click enter. It thinks for a moment, and then we'll have an output. Now I'm not going to wait for this to completely finish, but here's a rough idea of kind of what type of answer it will give you. So there you go. It will just list out all the steps and work just like an AI would, as if you were connected to the internet, but this is completely offline. So I'll exit out of there. Let's hop into another pretty useful resource, right? We have Wikipedia. So this has all 7.1 million articles stored on here. And we can click on a topic or search for something. So in this case, I'll go ahead and type dogs. Here we have a portal for dogs. We have a bunch of information about dogs, and we can go ahead and click on any of these blue links just like you would be able to as if you were connected to the internet. So we'll click on Czech Republic. We have information, Austrian Empire, so on and so forth. You could just go ahead and click through, and it works just like as if you were connected to the internet. And of course, that's the whole point. Something else I'll show is this actually has some games built in. So of course, you know, you might be away from the internet for an extended period of time, and you know, you may have some people with you. This device will handle up to 24 people connected to it concurrently. So I have a nice game of pool that we've built and installed onto the device. I'll quickly take a shot. Nice. Not the worst break ever. I'll exit out of here. Of course, we have Sudoku. We also have some word games here. Here's some of the different ones, word guess. And we have, of course, chess. Even some other games as well. Next, I'll show our resource that we developed for national parks. So we have every national park here, and all of the maps that are publicly available. So we could go ahead and like scroll down to one that I think many people will be familiar with, which is Yellowstone. We'll click on that. And as you can see, we have all of the maps for Yellowstone on here. You can see they all load in here. And what's fantastic about this is it gives you tons and tons of options for taking a look at it. So this is a very general park map. We can click view. And if something like this were to happen, some sort of issue, what's nice is you could just click JPEG and it'll give you that equivalent. So sometimes a browser may not be compatible. That you wouldn't see that on a different browser, like as if you were using, let's say Firefox, that wouldn't happen. But in Chrome we have that. So that's why there's multiple options for every one of these files. And you could even click open, and then you could have of course, your high resolution image, full screen. And then I'll go back, and then you could even download it. So download it right to the computer and you're good to go. In this case, it's on the computer, but it could be your smartphone or, somebody else's device. So they can actually have a full printout of whatever map they're interested in looking at. So you can see tons of great information, even like this right here. A very nice high resolution map of the entire park. So that's what this resource is. For anybody who's into ham radio, I actually have a resource that we built here called Repeater Atlas. And this has a fairly up-to-date list of all of the different repeaters across all sorts of different regions. So what you're able to do is just go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to go to roughly where I am right here. You could click here, there's multiple repeaters just in this area. And then I could go ahead and click on one of them. And as you can see, we have all the information that goes along with connecting to and using this repeater. So I'll go back, and we'll go right back to our home screen library. All right, so now I'll scroll over to the last resource that I'm going to show, which is the offline translate tool. So I'll click on it here. And this will allow you to translate between 18 different languages using a neural network. So just like Google Translate, this works in the same way, but it's just completely offline. And we could have a phrase like this typed in. I could go ahead and select a different language. We'll click on, let's say, French. And it goes ahead, loads in that neural network model, and there we go. It loads right in. We could type something else like, how's the weather? And it gives us that instant translation since now that the model is loaded into the browser. So we'll go ahead and click play.
Comment va la météo?
And it plays back the actual spoken language. So you could actually even practice if you wanted to. Also has a history here, shows you all of the recent translations, and you easily clear them just like that. So I think that's been a pretty good demonstration of all of the content that's on here and some of the capabilities. Of course, I can't cover everything in one video. There's just so much content stored on here that it would be hours and hours to really show and properly give everything justice. So there's something that I'll mention since a lot of people have asked. They've asked me, well, where are the limitations of this? Where can this be used? I tell people you could use this on Mars, just like the ACID Mini V1. It doesn't rely on any sort of interconnection to work. So as long as you could flip the switch on and connect it to some sort of Wi-Fi enabled device, you can access all of the content that's on here, which could be extremely valuable in a situation, let's say that, that just can't readily access the internet, or there's some sort of scenario of infrastructure collapse, right? That, the internet as a whole cannot be accessed. This gives you a really, really in-depth repository of a good portion of the internet that you can have with you and in a sense very securely as well, since it is an offline device. So I think that covers everything pretty well. I'll definitely be making more videos covering more of the ins and outs of this device, since there is so much more to it, like the ability for you to upload your own resources and content. I'll do video demonstrations of that. So yeah, if there's any suggestions as to other tools or content that we should create to add to the devices that we ship, please let me know. I'm definitely open to hearing it, and definitely looking for ways to make the product even better. But as it is, this is an extremely valuable resource that that can be updated. So if we develop anything that is suggested in the comments, it'll be available for you to go ahead and upload to your own Acid Mini V2. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.